Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're digging into ancient Egypt, specifically the city of Oxyrhynchus.
A fascinating place.
We're focusing on its later Christian or Byzantine period. Our guide is Adriana Recasens from the archaeological mission there via some video excerpts.
And the goal is really understanding that transition, from paganism to Christianity.
Exactly. What does the archaeology actually show us?
Well, first off, Oxyrhynchus, it's about 190 kilometers south of Cairo. Permit in Pharonaictic times, now El Banyasa.
And important for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Right through various dynasties up to the Byzantine era, before the Arab conquest, its location was key.
How so?
It had a river port on the Bar Yusuf, this important waterway, and was on a major land trade route. Strategic.
And then there are the papyri, of course.
Legendary. Huge amounts found, mostly in Oxford now. That's what got excavation started back in the late 19th century.
But our source focuses more on the recent Spanish-Egyptian mission, started in '92.
Right, from the University of Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
They've really expanded our view beyond just the papyri, especially into this Christian period.
Okay, so let's set the stage. How did Christianity become so dominant in Egypt?
Well, you've got the Roman Empire. First, the Edict of Milan, 313 AD. That basically allowed Christianity.
Freedom of worship.
Exactly. Then the big one, the Edict of Thessalonica in 380 AD. That made it the official state religion.
And Egypt was part of the Eastern Roman Empire after the split.
Byzantine Empire.
Yeah.
So Christianity was cemented. And the 5th century, that's when you see this massive monastic movement really take off in Egypt.
Yeah.
Take St. Anthony, St. Petronius.
The huge spiritual shift. So how did that play out on the ground in Oxyrhynchus? What changed physically?
That's where the archaeology is so revealing. Before the 5th century, it was mostly pagan. Lots of temples, especially to Serapis. He was a syncretic god.
A mix of Greek and Egyptian?
Kind of, yeah. And there was a Jewish population too. But then Christianity arrives and pagan temples get repurposed.
Right.
The Temple of Hadrian became a prison. Imagine that.
Wow. Symbolic?
Very. The Temple of Caesar turned into a monastery. The Temple of Augustus became a church.
So a complete takeover of sacred spaces. And burial practices changed too, right?
Absolutely. Mummification faded out. People started being buried directly in shrouds, often reddish ones apparently, or maybe wrapped in palm leaves, or simple wooden coffins.
And Christian structures start appearing in the necropolis.
Yes, specific Christian funerary buildings, even churches, right there among the older tombs.
Okay, let's get into some specific finds. These funerary houses sound interesting.
They are. Usually mud brick, maybe 2 stories, with the burial crypt underneath. They seem to combine living or cultic space for remembering the dead with the actual tomb.
With Christian decorations.
Sometimes, yeah. Our source mentions house tombs 1 and 2, with images of Christ and Jonah and this psychopomp eagle figure.
A soul guide eagle.
Right, holding a cross that looks a bit like an ankh, that old Egyptian symbol. A fascinating blend. They even built onto older Roman tombs.
And the complexes were bigger versions.
Sort of. Similar idea, but more developed religiously. Some had small basilicas, little churches. Sector 29 is a good example. A basilica, a preparation table, communal and private graves. Gives you a sense of their rituals.
Then there are these large enclosures.
Yeah, big walled areas used over different periods, containing living spaces, burials, sometimes gardens. One was huge, over 300 square meters, maybe holding 100 bodies in its crypts.
The Basilica of St. Philoxenus, that sounds important. Reusing a pagan site.
Definitely key. Sector 24. A 5th century church built right over a Ptolemaic Serapeum, a temple to Serapis.
You can see the layers.
Clearly. Serapeum, then the basilica, then later burials. The basilica had 5 naves and apse, but the crypt underneath, with Christian drawings and texts about St. Philoxenus.
A local saint.
Yes, its alignment was different. It strongly suggests they deliberately incorporated the old Serapeum structure when building the church.
What about sites outside the main city? Eremitic sites and the monastery.
Right, the eremitic sites found using aerial photography show hermits living and working away from the bustle. Workshops, living areas, a place for worship.
And the monastery of Saint Cyriacus.
Also outside the walls, maybe fortified, they've dug up the refectory, the dining hall, and the church.
What's the church like?
Basilical plan, 3 naves, mostly mud brick, but using limestone too. Some reused blocks from older buildings. It had a 3-part apse. Maybe with mosaics they found traces of blue.
Any interesting finds inside?
Yeah, the side chambers, the pastorphores, show signs of use for preparing the Eucharist. And they found 11 privileged tombs right in the church area.
Important people.
Seems like it. A young woman, a well-preserved man, other men and women, one possibly still in a red shroud, and even a double burial near the altar.
So putting it all together, Oxyrhynchus really gives us a tangible picture of this huge cultural shift.
Absolutely. You see it in how they reuse buildings, how they bury their dead, the kind of structures they build for worship. It's all there in the ground.
The work continues, uncovering more about daily life and belief back then.
It's a story that's still unfolding, layer by layer.
It really makes you think about how cultures change and how people express their faith and remember their dead across time. What else might still be hidden there?
A question archaeologists are always asking.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Christian Oxyrhynchus. Until next time, keep exploring.